Hey gang, it's Am here. Thought this game was a pretty good representation of what the Z-46 is capable of. It ended up being a loss, but I feel like the ship performed well, even if I didn't perform all that well in it. I also bagged my second pirate crew today. This is Saturday, day 2 of the pirate event. So, for those who have never played destroyers, or high-tiered destroyers in particular, you'll see on the other side there's a Seattle. That's probably the biggest concern that I have in this particular match, is getting spotted with radar by the Seattle, because he's got a lot of guns, and there are a lot of fairly rapid-firing ships on the other side that, when you're playing a higher tier DD, well, let's just put it this way, they would probably rejoice at an opportunity to shoot me. So, what am I doing here? I'm going to push slightly center. I'm thinking probably a destroyer is going to, from the other team, move into B. Very often they will like to hide behind the island that's at E5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get as close as I can between these two islands that are just ahead of my ship, and I'm going to throw torpedoes along that lane. It doesn't always work, but a lot of maps have, it's not an identical situation, but they'll have a situation where there's a place DDs like to hide or cruisers like to push up, and if you've got enough range on your torpedoes, you can make that work against them by hitting them from an angle that they're not really expecting. So you'll see I just get as close as I can with leaving myself enough room to continue to turn back towards C. I line up the shot so that I'm not racing anything down the island, and I just let them rip. And then it's a race for C. Now our Benson at C, he's trying to cap. I'm not exactly sure what happened here. I thought he was going to go ahead and cap it out, but somehow or another, he managed to leave the cap and ground himself on the island that's just ahead of his ship. So myself and I think the Saint Louis moved up. Well, we'll see here in a sec, but there's at least one other ship that moves into the cap with me. The Benson, he derped it big time. Now, I just checked on my torps, haven't hit anything yet. Now you can see Gajimata moving in, but there was somebody else already in B. Now, if you're not familiar with destroyers, you may be asking yourself, why didn't you take the shot at the Gajimata? Well, even when he was in my range, he was at my extreme range, and I would have just let everyone know where I was. I'd prefer, as long as possible, to remain unseen when I'm in a destroyer, particularly in a torpedo boat. And there you can see the Benson left the cap and beached himself. So I turned in toward my support ships a little, and then realized, no, there's nothing there. It would have shown up on the minimap. So the Benson just derped. Initially, my initial reaction, and the reason I turned that way and slowed down initially, was I thought maybe he had seen something, but there wasn't anything there. He just, who knows, maybe his cat walked across his keyboard. So anyhow, so what am I doing now? I'm going to finish up this cap, and then I'm going to see whether there's an opportunity to torpedo anything that's on the north side of these islands. I'm also screening for torpedoes. As the Missouri behind me and the Saint Louis move up, in the event that they follow the same path that I'm following, I want to, because I want to see whether or not we have any enemy torpedoes coming through these lanes between the islands. So you'll see I've activated Hydro, which extends the detection range of torpedoes, and I'm just kind of inching my way in here. I've slowed down just a hair. Yeah, I don't see anything there, so I go ahead and move forward. And I just push up. Hey, Rocket. Yeah, so far so good. I'm just recording right now a video of the game I just had, where I bagged my second pirate crew for another 250 doubloons. Thanks. Yeah, and it was a terrible loss. The team kind of fell apart, but it was a fun game, and the video that I'm doing is just kind of highlighting some of the things that a GD captain, particularly at high tiers, wants to focus on, even if I wasn't entirely successful with it.
Achtung, melde Zielposition.
You'll see here that I've been radar detected by the Seattle. Now, I was keeping my distance because I wanted to try to stay at the edge of his radar range, and I was able to get right back out of radar spotting. So they know where I'm at, but they're not continuing to put shells on me. All I'm doing there is just asking, in particular the Missouri, to instead of shooting the Iowa trying to farm damage, to shoot the Seattle. Probably, well, you might be able to one-shot him with the Missouri. So I'm just continuing to push up here, trying to keep everybody spotted, keep an eye out for torpedoes. In my opinion, the Missouri behind me, though I can kind of understand him not wanting to get broadside, when the Iowa's turned like this, just showing aft, the Missouri, he could have turned around a little earlier than he did, I think. He ran the other direction. I'm just throwing some torpedoes out there on the off chance that the Iowa might turn into him. In fact, if I remember right, he turned so far in that he kind of got behind him. But myself and the other Benson, we're going to move to try and cap here. Not the other Benson, the Benson. Benson's got his torps out. If I remember right, I hit the Iowa here, but didn't sink it. And you can see that was a pretty derpy shot from our Missouri. So I called the Iowa, hey, come on, finish him off. But, well, you'll see. Sorry to be kind of intermittent with my talking to the rocket. I'm trying to narrate the video at the same time. Well, I'm glad you did. As soon as this is over, maybe I'll join you. So, a lot of damage to the Iowa there, but he's healing up a little bit. And our Missouri just doesn't seem to be, at least not yet, doing much. Okay, so that's our pirate ship right there. It's Pirate Crew 59. So why did I slow down and stop here? Well, because there are a couple ships that you have me in range of so if I stayed out in the open, I could get torpedoes off Steuerbord. Activated hydro because I expected torpedoes. Yeah, you did see them. I think he throws another batch over here. So see if I can't get a fire on the Iowa. And I'm just biding my time. I'm waiting for the Z-39. There he is, but he's kind of moving behind the island. So I'm going to position myself because it looks like he's going to come back around and try and make use of the Benson's smoke. Now, it's not just wanting to get a kill on a pirate crew here. I'm trying to eliminate a threat, and destroyers are very much a threat. Now, I'm not visible to anybody right now. There's smoke covering me, so I'm going ahead and pushing in. I'm trying to get close enough that my hydro might pick him up. And spotted. And had to turn out. But there he is. I think that did it. Gegnerischer Zerstörer versenkt. Feueralarm! I put those torps out in the hope that I might catch the Grossa or the Fiji, but Now it's just a race to get out of detection. A little extra blind fire damage there. But if you're not familiar with destroyers and you haven't played particularly high tier destroyers, you can see what I'm talking about. Once you get spotted, any even halfway decent player that has you in range will turn their guns to you to try to finish you off. And now it's just, can't help the shots that I got him. I think he's the only one that has the ability to shoot me right now, so I'm going to go ahead while he's interested in the Missouri, try and help finish him. And now I've got the ability to shoot the Fiji, and he doesn't have the ability to see me. The Missouri's got him spotted. I'm guessing radar spotted, but I'll do what damage I can to the PG here. He understands the situation. He's trying to get out of it. Yeah, now he's behind the island. So now the question is he going to push in around the island, or is he going to turn around? He's turning around, so I'm going to go ahead and send him a little welcoming party. One thing I did take a second to kind of analyze, and you'll have to do this if you start playing destroyers or if you get to these higher tier destroyers that have longer range torps. You got to determine what the Missouri's doing. If he had been moving faster, I probably would not have fired those torpedoes because I didn't want to torpedo a friendly. But since Missouri looked like he was barely moving, if at all, I went ahead and threw him out there and was hoping that the Fiji might not see him till too late, and that's exactly what happened. Everybody sees me on their mini-map at that moment that the Fiji saw me, but I'm going to go ahead and take advantage of not being spotted right now to reposition. You can see the team is folding. Got a nice compliment there from the Fiji captain, which was very nice. Thank you, sir. Everybody's pushing in now. We're down to 3 ships. Nelson's a really tough boat, but it's really boxed in there. And certainly there are going to be torpedoes from the other 3. And there they are. Got a plane in the air, so if I leave the smoke, I'm certainly going to be spotted. I'm trying to get the DeGrossa here. I'm having to guess what he's going to do, and I miscalculated. So he was able to outrun my torpedoes, as you'll see here in a second. And I made myself a target again. Trying to get behind the smoke to be not spotted, but they're just as good as back there in the side. I had to stay as much as possible. Just now ran into range. Pretty close, but no cigar.
Feuer alarm!
And again, another really great example of what happens in high tier DD when you get spotted. Now, the miracle there is that one of the torpedoes that I threw out had just enough range to tap that Iowa. Now he's trying to heal up again, but as you'll see here in a minute or so, I was able to finish him off. But with only 2 of us against a total of 7 red boats, this game really is over. I'm tagging the Iowa, pinging him, just hoping our Missouri might be able to finish him off. I see the Seattle coming. You have to guess what they're going to do. My guess was he would probably hug the island. It turns out I was wrong, and I paid for that. But roll your dice and take your chances. Okay, so the goal here, just try and get fire on Iowa before the Missouri's dead. Because if I remember right, got a flood. So if I'm able to set fire, it'll burn. There was the fire. And Missouri's down to 400 hit points. Gegnerische Schlachtschiff versenkt. Thanks for watching, guys.